What up, though, Pride Nation? Welcome to Luke G's Field Review. We are back at it today, this time with a debate with one of the newest Detroit Lions YouTubers, MicroMike. We are having a little technical difficulties. And so what I'm trying to do is help him get everything squared away. So please bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize for that. I meant to bring him in via phone. And when I bring them in via phone, that will be able to allow me to have them be a part of the show. So just bear with me, because while I'm talking to you, I'm going to be giving my man a phone call. And hopefully we can get this squared away. It was working, and then it just dropped. I mean, so you know, people know I like to do my house calls. And we're going to start off with the shout outs. We're going to say, what up, though, to all the people in the chat. So give me 1 second. So I got my man's on the phone. We're gonna put him on via phone. We're gonna do it via phone, okay? And then while you're on the phone, if you can, we'll try to work out getting you on, so that way it can work right. Okay. So hold tight. I'm gonna put you on the phone. All right. Mr. MicroMike, you still there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
All right. So we do have sound. People, can y'all please tell me if y'all hear Mr. MicroMike? Want to make sure we get this right. Hold on. Let's see. Do we hear him? Oh, we got a Kodiak Hamilton. What up, though, Kodiak Hamilton? Welcome to the chat, man. I appreciate you being a part of the show. So everybody can hear you, Mr. MicroMike. So let me go do my house calls. I gotta do my shout outs to those who joined the chat. We got General G. Berry, George Morgan. Let me scroll on down. We got Colin Zilly. We got Team. We got Dre Burns, John Hannon, D. Williams, Bobby Boucher. We got our first time listener, first time to the show, Kodak Hamilton. Antoine, what up? We got John Simmons. And let's see, anybody else? We got Magical Wishes 5K. What up, everybody? Welcome to Luke G's Field Review. I am excited to bring to you today our newest YouTuber that's going to be talking Detroit Lions sports. I have talked to this man a few times. He has hit on some very good points. And my motto has always been, whether you agree to disagree or agree to agree, if you want to be on this show and you got good points, we're going to get you on the show. So let me, without further ado, introduce Mr. MicroMike himself. That's right, Mr. MicroMike himself. What up, though, man? Welcome to the show, man. I'm so glad to have you on. What's going on?
Oh, man, just doing some football stuff, and it's a pleasure to be on your show, Luke.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Listen, tell the people what can they expect from MicroMike's YouTube channel, because I know it's new. I know you're going to be dropping some videos soon, but I wanted to do this so that way they can know that we got other YouTubers out there who was talking about the same team that we all love and care about. So what can they expect with your channel?
With my channel, we're going to go into explicit detail and micro view of free agents, of draft picks, of personnel in the GM office, the tactics that Quinn will be performing for this franchise, and much, much more.
I hear that, man. I hear that. Now let me just go ahead and get a lot of things going, because one of the things is I wish we didn't have the technical difficulties, but we know that technology will fail us when we want it the most. And one of the things I wanted to kind of bring up was us talking about a little bit of the draft, a little bit of the expectations, maybe even talk a little bit about some pro days that we heard about today. I know that the Lions went to a particular pro day and sat down and had dinner with a particular prospect, which got me a little excited. We're going to talk about that. And on top of that, once again, we're going to talk about the newest Detroit Lions YouTuber, MicroMike. Now, let me give a shout out to the Detroit Alliance. That is the Gridiron Blitz with AKA Derrick P. Fields, Noble Sports Entertainment with AKA TA, and 313 JMO. Their channels are linked in my description, as well as Mr. MicroMike's. His channel is linked in my description. Please go and join and support him. I am truly trying to bridge all the gaps of all the Detroit Lions YouTubers so we can all talk sports and do it in a productive way. So let's get this thing started. We're going to start off with the draft. Now, you have an interesting take, Mike, that you say in terms of who the Lions will take at 8 and who they should take at 8. So let's talk about that. Who do you think the Lions should take at 8?
I believe they should take TJ Hockenson.
Okay.
And I believe that would be an absolute pick that will revolutionize this offense.
Okay, and why do you think he will revolutionize this offense? I mean, what is your overall views on that?
Well, when I think of Patricia and Quinn's Detroit Lions, I think about what happened with Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez. And I believe adding Jesse James and TJ Hockenson, they could replicate that type of numbers that they performed in the Patriots in 2011.
Man, look, you already get some love. I got people in like TJ Hawkinson's facts. Smart man. So you already getting some love. Okay, so for you wouldn't trade down. I mean, is trading down a possibility for you?
Yeah, my fear is Jacksonville's going to take TJ, and I believe if that does happen, I believe we definitely should trade down, at least to 13 or possibly, in the mid-16th range.
Now, it's funny you bring that up because I have been hearing a lot of talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars and their desire to bring in a blocking tight end to assist in the run game. And I share that same fear that you have in terms of saying that, if they do take him, then it's almost like, yeah, definitely trade down then, right? But you're saying if he's there at 8, you're not trading that pick, you're taking him.
I'm taking him. I'm not trading the pick at all.
What do you love about TJ Hockenson? What is it about his game that you love about it? I mean, I know what I love about it because I was trying to push the train that, certain players fit certain schemes. But what do MicroMike love about TJ Hockenson?
When I see TJ Hockenson, I see a fantastic tight end that can do it all. He can pass, block, he can catch. And with the offense that Darrell Bevell will be running, you will have no idea what the offense will do when you have TJ Hockenson out there and Jesse James. So not only is he going to be able to just simply catch the ball and block, it's going to make defenses worry, what are these guys going to do on a play?
No, I can see that. I can certainly see that. I think one of the things that I looked at that stood out for me personally was that unpredictability. I felt like the Lions were so predictable when they would bring in certain tight ends, like they'll bring in Luke Wilson, teams like, oh, they're passing, or they bring in Theo Reddick with him, and it's like, oh, you brought in Theo Reddick. And so I started seeing this trend where people were listen, Greg Gore, my words, not his. He says, tell the caller to keep preaching, Luke. The church is saying yes. So the thing about Darrell Bevell's offense, what stands out to you about Darrell Bevell as an offensive coordinator that you think would make TJ Hockenson the best pick at 8? Because some people are going to say, well, what about offensive line? Some people are going to say, what about if Josh Allen fall to us, which I don't see him getting past the Raiders, but in case he do, they're going to ask that question to you, Mike. And so just so people can kind of understand where you're coming from in terms of how you viewing this football team, what is it about Darrell Bevell that makes TJ Hockenson the best pick?
Yeah. See, Darrell Bevell runs a power offense. And what I believe Detroit Lions has lacked for many years is the power. They've been finesse, but not power. And the only way to get and win in December and in a playoffs is through power running and power blocking. And TJ does that. He almost feels somewhat of an offensive lineman. You don't even need to have another guard like they've been doing with Joe Dahl out there. You have TJ out there, he's going to do it all. And he's a plug and play. And that's what we need right now. We need players that can start instantly, and TJ is that guy. And yes, if Josh Allen fell to 8 for some insane reason, I'm still taking TJ. I know that sounds crazy.
It don't sound crazy to me.
That the offense,
it don't sound crazy to me because I think me and you are on the same page in terms of saying that, the last great tight end the Lions had is Charlie Sanders. I mean, unless somebody can tell me somebody better, I have a hard time remembering who were our top tight ends. And on top of that, if he's going to assist in us getting back to what we did in 1991, and that's run the ball, I'm all about that.
Absolutely. And I know there's a fear of taking tight ends like we had Pettigrew and Derrick Ebron, but there was also a fear when we took wide receivers, Williams and Rogers, but then we got Calvin Johnson. And just because there's a fear and we've done in the past, we cannot blame T.J. Hockenson for that. This man is a stud.
You know what? I totally agree with that. I think there is this level of fear where you have people who are afraid to take the tight end because of what happened with Derrick Ebron and Brandon Pettigrew. I don't think too many people understand that. Now, I did see somebody post in the chat. They said that, and I guess it's breaking news or maybe not so much, but I haven't been on any feeds to know it. But they said that the Lions came to terms with cornerback Rashawn Melvin for 1 year, $3.5 million.
Wow.
So, I mean,
yeah, I did not hear that as well.
I didn't hear that.
That makes sense for our secondary strength. I mean, we got Coleman, Slay, and then you put him in there. That's a pretty solid defense. And to me, that means they're not going to go cornerback with that first round.
See, this is why I'm on the mic with Mr. MicroMike, because MicroMike makes some sense over here, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Mr. MicroMike is our newest Detroit Lion YouTuber. He is a brand new YouTuber who has just started his page, but we had a number of conversations, and he was talking some stuff, and I was like, hey, if you want to be on the show, let's talk about it, you know. So I'm happy to have him on. Again, his channel's link is in my description, so please do subscribe and check him out. Now, let me address this. Who do you think the Lions will take? I mean, I know who you think they should take, but who do you think they will take, in your opinion?
It's my opinion they'll take TJ if he's there. Now, if he's not there, I believe they will trade back into the mid-round, and I believe they'll pull an upset in which no one will believe, but I think they'll take Khalil Hodge.
Now you talking to a man who got so much love for that player. I really do appreciate that player. And I think Khalil Hodge is a player that many people are overlooking for whatever reason. I mean, maybe they're listening to the Bucky Brooks of the world. I wouldn't if I was you. But, you know, if the Lions were to pull that off, get Hockenson and turn around, still get Hodge, that would be great. That'd be crazy as all get out. I mean, and I see that some people are asking the question, like Sweeten88 said, who is Melvin, though? Never heard of him. And I believe he was a former cornerback on the Raiders. He was, I mean, he was pretty decent. I'm not gonna act like he was the world's greatest cornerback, but you figure for a 1 year deal, you know, I don't know. So again, this is the thing, and George Morgan brought this up too, Micro. He says, listen, they bringing in cornerbacks, so they're not drafting one, at least not in the first couple of rounds, and that's evident to me as well. I think that the first couple of rounds is going to probably be, like you said, tight end and maybe a linebacker or tight end and a pass rusher. But let me ask you this, Mike. Did you hear that the Detroit Lions had a sit down, a personal little sit down and dinner with one Louisiana Tech outside linebacker / DN, Jalen Ferguson? Did you hear about that? That happened today?
I did not hear about that. I was gone all day, but I would love to hear more about that.
So
here's very interesting.
Here's what I know. I know that they had this meeting. They went to his pro day, and there was about 30 other teams there. No surprise that the entire NFC North, that includes the Bears, the Packers, and the Vikings, were all there. Now, why the Vikings was there is beyond me, but they were there. And he sat down with a number of teams, but he had dinner with our Detroit Lions. And it got me to thinking, what does that mean? Now, the other part of it is he did have some off-field issues that occurred long ago. And it got me to wondering if the Detroit Lions are going to start to look at pass rusher if they trade down. How would you feel if the Detroit Lions did trade down and did not take Hockenson? Who will be your next best pick for you if they traded down?
I think my next best pick I had was Byron Murphy, but now with that signing of that cornerback, I don't believe that's going to happen at all. So I could see them, maybe a player drops like linebacker White there, take him. You never know. There's always a player that drops, and you kind of scratch your head like, why in the world did that player drop?
True.
And I think that very well could happen.
Now here's the thing. I am seeing Now I am seeing some comments in the chat that jumped out to me, and I'm seeing some people saying that they think that the Lions are going to take Devin White.
Yeah, that I could see that as well.
Now, would it be any concerns for you in terms of Devin White? For me, there's a lot of concerns.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me. Yeah, he's fast, but when you look at the play in his field, he's not. He kind of reminds me of the linebackers we already have. And honestly, I feel like if we took him, it would kind of be almost a luxury type pick. And to me, he's not an immediate starter. So I'd have mixed feelings on that one. Even though it's always good to get a linebacker, I would still have mixed feelings on that one.
Now, I kind of agree with you. I thought long and hard about this, and I said if they did take Devin White, would he actually be an immediate starter? And I'm like, part of me want to say, well, yeah, but I just look at what Matt Patricia did. I mean, he benched for the first 2 games. He benched Glover Quinn, who was our leader and a known starter, and he didn't get no love. And it got me to thinking, like, well, what would they do about that? Now, here go some of the questions that's coming in to us. I see Peace and Quiet. What up, though, Peace and Quiet? Welcome to the show. Glad to have you. He says, should the Lions kick the tires on Eric Berry? Maybe get him on the cheap. What's your thoughts on that, MicroMike?
I would pass, and honestly, even though he's very good, I feel like we have a really good safety position with Walker and Diggs, and we just got the current safety we have took a pay cut. So, I'd rather save the money and do it on something else, maybe a trade possibly.
I agree too, because one of the reasons why I didn't want Justin Houston is because I saw that he had a market value of 11 to 12 million, and I saw one time on one website where they had the value as high as 14 million, and then I looked up and he gets signed by the Colts for a 2-year, $24 million deal, and I'm thinking, well, they go that 12 million, and I didn't want to pay that. I just didn't see the logic in paying him 12 million, and we just gave 18 million to Trey Flowers. And so I see another question, or at least another comment that says that, Byron Murphy is still in play. That's why they signed the guy to a 1-year deal. I mean, that's very true. And we got another guy who says, Helmden, he says, I don't know why, but I don't like White. I would take Devin Bush over White. And then I scrolled down to someone who happened to have the name Bush 308. And I'm starting to wonder, is that a Devin Bush family member? If it is, let me know. But it says trade down and take Devin Bush. What are your thoughts on the Lions taking Devin Bush in the first round?
If we could trade down and pick up an extra 3rd-round pick, or even if it was even more, a 2nd-round pick, I'm all for it.
Now, I personally want to stay away from Devin Bush. I like the speed. I don't like the height. And based on how New England was doing things with their linebackers, they did not take linebackers who were not higher than 6 feet tall. So I think that kind of eliminates them a little bit. It just makes me wonder, what's going on with that. Now I can ask you this. Let me ask you this. Being a Detroit Lions fan, that we get a lot of hate from teams, or not gonna say team, but we get a lot of hate in terms of fans about Matthew Stafford. How do you view our quarterback in terms of his abilities to be the quarterback for the Lions?
Oh man, I really don't understand the hate that much. I personally really like Matthew Stafford. I've been in the era of Culpepper, McCown, Kitna, and I have seen some really pathetic quarterback play for this team. And Matthew Stafford, to me, it's the best games I've seen. When he was in there in the Cleveland, he goes, "Yeah, if you need me to pass the ball, I need to pass the ball. Pass the ball." He's an Iron Man. Yes, he makes mistakes here and there, but we have not had a running game. We have not had a defense when the offense was good, and then when the offense good, the defense wasn't good. So I think he is the franchise quarterback for here and for the next couple of years.
And I mean, it's one of the things. It's one of the things, like, where I think the love-hate relationship comes with the results, and I think that's something that you're going to always have. I just wish that the evaluation can be different. I evaluate quarterbacks based on what they have around them, and I know, like, when I look at people like Baker Mayfield, who I'm like, hey, before you got there, they went out and picked up 3 big-name offensive linemen. got you 3 stud running backs. Added, I mean, even look at this year alone, what they added. They gave him another receiver.
Absolutely.
So it just makes me wonder, like, okay, what's going on now? I'm seeing some people that got some good jokes, like Greg Gore. He says, I view Stafford as a trash can, but in my Terrell Owens voice, that's my quarterback.
That's true. That's true, man.
And so, and then I see where we got Wesley, who says that, he says that it's obvious they will protect Stafford at all costs. Expect multiple linemen on both sides of the ball. And he also says that they need another lineman like Frank Ragnow. What do you think about the idea of the Lions at 8 taking an offensive lineman if TJ Hockenson is there?
No, I would pass on that. I believe Crosby can go in and fill in where TJ Lang was at. I think he was a great pickup last year in the draft, and I believe he made significant improvements just being on the team for a year. And I don't think we need to draft one early. I mean, I could see us taking a guard, in the later rounds for next year and have moved Crosby to where Wagner is at, and then move the new guard from the middle round next year into his spot. But I don't really see it. I think Crosby can fill the spot.
And it's funny you say that, because to me, the only way I can see us taking that lineman if they coming out like they Quentin Nelson. And I don't see that lineman in this draft. I don't see that Quentin Nelson lineman in this draft. If there's another Quentin Nelson type player coming out, I'd be all for that. Because what Quentin Nelson does is totally unheard of. Now, I'm seeing some new names in here. I like to acknowledge the new people. We got Inkster Tula. Welcome to the show, man, and appreciate it. Let's see what he says. He says, this year everybody will be looking to see if Stafford is worth that money. If he has a run game, absolutely. You can't have a run game and fail at this point. And Heldem says he thinks Stafford has been a victim of poor coaching and poor play calling. I would be willing to bet that if he was allowed to call all his own plays or even design them, he would be unstoppable. What up, though, Go Lions, man? Glad to see you back at the show. 313 J-Mo, what up, though? 313 J-Mo says, my main reason for loving Stafford is he's elevated those around him even without an O-line or run game. So when you look at the Detroit Lions run game for 2019 and you look at the Detroit Lions run game from 2018, what improvements do you see that the Lions have made and are going to make that makes this team more a danger in your eyes?
Well, I believe continuity on the offensive line is definitely going to help the run game. And since TJ Lang was hurt a lot, going in and out of the lineup, I believe with a healthy Crosby and a healthy Kerryon Johnson, and with a new running back that I'll talk later about how possibly we could pick in the draft, I believe that instantly will upgrade the run game and bring what Darrell Bevell brought to Seattle to Detroit.
Now, somebody, you're going to get somebody in the comment section. Again, we are on the mic with MicroMike, the Detroit Lions' newest YouTuber, just having a friendly conversation and debate about what we see for our team and showing love. Now, you're going to have some people who's going to say to you, Mike, that's going to say, yeah, but Stafford has been here 10 years. Yeah, I know that you see that these things are going to change with the offensive coordinator, and you think this is going to happen, but nobody knows until the game really happens. When somebody comes to you and say that, what say you? What say you to those type of facts?
I would say ask any general manager in the NFL, if we put Stafford on the trade block, how many general managers would be jumping on that? Those general managers would be trading for Stafford as fast as possible. The man is 30 years old. He's an Iron Man. He has not been injured since his third season here. He does not whine and complain like Aaron Rodgers and dope around. The man got sacked 10 times in one game last year, and he just got up and did his thing.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think those are the things that has always been missed when people talk about the Detroit Lions. Again, to any of the people who are in the chat, if you want to be on Blue G's Field Review show where we're having some conversation, whether you're doing a YouTube channel or not, whether you agree with me or not, whether you just want to come on and talk football, hit me up on Twitter at FieldG's or at my email at LukeG'sFieldReview@gmail.com. Again, we are on the mic with MicroMike, Detroit Lions' newest YouTuber, just trying to show him some love, man, because when we talked, he talked a lot of good things. Some things I didn't really agree with him on, not saying that he was like perfect, but majority of what he said, man, was spot on, and I understood where he was coming from and what he was trying to, bring to the table. Now we're going to do some things a little bit different today, Mike, because one of the things that I really want people to understand is when you're evaluating what needs to be improved for this team, if there's one thing on this team that you feel need to be improved, what would that be?
The most improved part of the team that needs to be improved, or what do you?
What's the part of the team that is the most improved part of the team for you, and what's the part that you think that still needs to be improved?
Okay, the part that I believe will be improved much more is the offense, simply because our past offensive coordinator, KFC, is gone, and we got a real one in there. I believe that we are going to pound the ball and we are going to run it. The offensive line will hold and keep Stafford under center and not dirt on the ground. I believe we were going to have an offense that is going to trick defenses. It will not be run, pass, punt like the past that we have. Now, the part that I believe we need improvement on is the secondary. And I believe simply with Nevin Lawson gone and adding Coleman and apparently the new cornerback we got today, simply continuity and understanding Patricia's defense, it will continue to grow and get much better than it was last year. And that's what I believe.
Now, listen, I can't disagree with you at all. I think those are the main things, and I think many Lions fans definitely want it. Now, I see Bush 308 says we need a guard and linebacker. Everything else is a luxury. Well, I mean, I don't think tight end is a luxury, given the fact that right now, if you're going to look at the Detroit Lions roster, I mean, aside from Jesse James, I mean, who's the other tight end that you feel comfortable putting out there? I mean, you going to put Michael Roberts back out there?
Absolutely not.
And to me, Michael Roberts got to show that he can do a better job of running routes and blocking. And I think that's where he gets his playing time at. But outside of him, who's the next person? And so to me, I think that the tight end is not a luxury pick, in my opinion, Bush. But I do understand what you're saying about the linebacker position. I just think that if they're going to get a linebacker, it needs to be somebody who can man the inside more so than they could as an outside rusher, in my opinion. But again, that's different. What are your thoughts in terms of what Bush said? Bush says that, everything else we take as a luxury. In other words, if we take TJ Hockenson, the tight end, that's a luxury pick.
See, I don't believe it's a luxury pick. I believe it's a need pick, and it fills many holes. I believe that it will help the run game. It will also help the offense stay on the field. If the offense stays on the field long enough, the defense rests. When the defense rests, they make more plays. They make more plays, we win more games. When the fourth quarter happens, we can simply run it down their throat. The defense is tired, and no more Stafford comebacks because we already won the game.
And see, that's my point. That's my point right there. And I know I'm seeing a lot of people talk about Michael Roberts being a victim of JBC, but I see Crimson Shadow says, what about Noah Fant? If how would you feel if the Lions traded down and took Noah Fant?
At this point, I believe Quinn has made fantastic draft picks, and if he believes that's the man, I would go for it.
Now, I will tell you this much. I know John Simmons just said we signed Logan Thomas. Yeah, but I think Logan Thomas is a camp body. I don't think he'll be here. Yeah. Greg Gore is enjoying the heck out of you. He's like, amen, caller, amen. And then Bush 308 says a rookie tight end isn't going to add all of that. What say you to that?
I believe it will add them.
See, I do too.
If you look at 2011 Patriots, when they had Gronkowski and Hernandez, they were unstoppable. And I believe tight ends, Hawkinson's a different type of tight end. He's not a Pettigrew. He's not an Ebron.
Right.
He's very smart, very physical, and he's a plug and play tight end. Tight end is a hard position to learn going from college to football, but he has the skills to do it.
Now, if we had everything set up right, I would have told Bush to call in so Bush can be a part of the conversation. But you know, we got to do it a little bit different. So Bush says we took Eric Ebron at 10. Never forget. Now, Bush, let me be fair. I do think Mike addressed that, and I think I even concur with him that just because they decided to take a hit on a tight end that was supposed to be this pass catching guru because they was trying to mimic what was going on in New Orleans when they had Jimmy Graham, they ended up taking the one guy who had the most drops of all the tight ends that year in college. And so I don't know if that's going to, or if that's going to be something to look forward to or be held against them. Now, I've seen a lot of people say, what about Irv Smith in the second round? I don't think Irv Smith make it to the second round. There are too many teams who need a tight end, and Irv Smith is in that top 5 tight end group. I mean, you start to look at Jacksonville, Green Bay, the Chicago Bears, and you start to look at the Packers, including ourselves. There goes 6 teams that need tight ends. So I don't see Irv Smith sliding that far. I did see somebody that put in there, what about Sternberger? I think Sternberger is another one of those guys who could probably slide to the second round. But again, we don't pick at 8 in the second round. So that's another one of those things that you got to kind of weigh your options on. And then Russell Gilmore said Ebron was not used right. And I agree. He wasn't used right. But again, that comes to coaching. I think the coaching staff is different because they're looking for more versatile tight ends to block. And I think that's what Mike is addressing. He's saying that this guy can come in, block on the run and block on the pass. But I'm not going to say it. I'll let Mike say it because Mike is the newest Detroit Lions YouTuber. Please go check out his channel and subscribe. He's MicroMike. His channel is linked in my description. Please check it out. But I'll let Mike tell you about it. Mike, the people just not buying this TJ Hockenson tight end that 8 crap, man. They not buying it. I mean, what? How can you make them do this?
Well, look, again, when we had drafted Michael Williams, wide receiver, and Charles Rogers, wide receiver, if we decided to go with that strategy and not draft Megatron, I mean, we just missed out on a big opportunity right there. And I believe TJ Hockenson is a Gronkowski type of tight end. I believe he's going to really change offenses. And I believe if we don't get him, if Aaron Rodgers and the Packers get him, boy, we're going to be hurting pretty bad.
Now, I totally agree with you on that. I totally agree with you. If we had to follow that same belief that, oh, we don't take receivers because we missed out on these other receivers, then yeah, you're right. We would have missed out on a whole bunch of receivers. And on top of that, I see that there's a comment in here that says TJ Hockenson. Let me go back up. I think it was John Simmons. Yeah, it is. John Simmons says Hockenson is an instant starter, but not our biggest need. Right guard is our top priority, and Quinn has shown that it's his priority too. Yeah, but Quinn also stated that the positions that have depth are the positions he's not going to force in the first round. He said that too in the interview that he had when talking about what he's going to do. I think I did a breakdown of that video and shows you that he was very adamant that they're taking the best player available for the need. And the guard, they're in the guard in this draft that you can take, in my opinion, at 8. I mean, would I be mad if they took an offensive lineman at 8? No. But if I look up and we take a lineman and I see TJ Hockenson acting a fool somewhere else, I'm gonna be highly upset. That's just me. So it's one of them things where I get the point, but here's a question for you, Mike. Yeah. Inkster says, if we trade down, what position do we go after then?
Okay, so the position I was looking for, if we decide to do a trade down, I believe we go linebacker, and Khalil Hodge would be my pick. Yeah, I believe people think he's a second or a third rounder, but I watched the man's film, and the guy is a stud. I think he could be the early Clay Matthews version for us as a linebacker. And I don't care what media pundits say where he should be drafted. I just simply believe my eyes and tape and the stats. I believe that's who we should take.
I mean, it's so funny because I think yesterday we had a round table yesterday, and the topic of Devin White came up and somebody said something like, yeah, Devin White had 286 total tackles in his 2 seasons at in his 2 seasons at LSU. And I was like, but Khalil Hodge had 400. I'm like, you realize the man had 400. Like it's 400 tackles. It's crazy to me to think of that. And I'm seeing a lot of people like Go Lion who believe that we should trade down and take Khalil Hodge and Byron Murphy. In my opinion, if they take Byron Murphy and Khalil Hodge, which I can see Byron Murphy sliding, it just depends on how far we trading down. Which brings me to a point you brought up earlier when you talked about your trade partners, and you brought up number 13 Miami Dolphins. Why did you bring them up?
Because I think they want to get a quarterback, and you never know. A quarterback could slide you, and they definitely need one. They're hurting really bad, and I could see them being a trade partner for sure. And they were part of the Patriots. Their head coach was part of the Patriots organization, and obviously we make trades with people that Bob Quinn knows.
And you know what? I think you are dead right. I think what many people don't realize is there's a number of reasons why I see the Miami Dolphins as a potential trade partner. The first reason I see it is this. Who is the new head coach of the Miami Dolphins? It's a New England Patriots former coach, right? And they just traded Tannehill to the Tennessee Titans and signed Ryan Fitzpatrick. So I really think you're right that that's going to be a strong trade partner for the Lions. The fact that they have that tie, that New England tie together, and on top of that, they do look for another quarterback. I don't think they're going to sit back and just chill on it. But there's a question in here that I absolutely love. It comes from Marcus Willis, and what he says is, why is it so bad for us to draft Hockenson if there are so many other teams looking to draft him as well? Because many of us Detroit Lions fans want the sexy pick. We want the big name. We want something that's going to spark people's interest and bring in the big name. So now we got somebody here giving you a shout out, MicroMike, and what it says is from Hilarious Broadcast. MicroMike is my dad. Shout out to Hilarious Broadcast. Okay. So, apparently they giving you some love. The family is showing up giving you some love. We got a new one in here, Johanalism. Welcome to the show. He says, quick point. You can draft a starting right guard in the 2nd to 4th round. Let's be honest. You know what? Thank you. Johanalism. I mean, he makes a very good point. Why are you going to force this guard? And like I said, if it's not Quentin Nelson, I did see that John Simmons said, yeah, but Johanna Williams has already said he does not want to play guard. He's already said that if he has to play guard, he will, but he sees himself as a tackle. I don't want nobody coming in being forced to play a position that they really don't want to play. He wants to play tackle. He believes that he's a tackle. He does not like this idea that he got short arms and things like that. But it's just, I don't want to force that on nobody. And I think at the end of the day, it's one of them things. Now, here's another comment that jumped out to me. It says, what you telling me is Fitzmagic won't happen? Come on now. Yeah, I'm saying that, Clemson. I'm saying that the Fitzmagic is not going to happen in Miami. He had a very different situation where he had wide receiver threats and a tight end in Tampa Bay. So I don't see too much happening outside of that. Now, here's a question from him. He says, what round was TJ Lang drafted in? Third? Was it third or fourth, I want to say?
It's fourth or fifth.
It was a later round, Hamden. We also got some questions that says from Will Dirks. He says, is running back on the table for drafting with us losing the Rams back up? Yes, it is back on the table. In fact, that's another thing that happened today. Did you hear that you should have heard it because pretty much everybody that I know announced it. From the Gridiron Blitz announced it to Noble Sports Entertainment announced it. And Marcus Willis and Technical Jeff both confirmed that TJ Lang was drafted in the 4th. I appreciate you, fellas. But the St. Louis Rams, the LA Rams had matched the Detroit Lions offer, so they're going to keep their running back, Malcolm Brown. So you know, what are your thoughts to the Lions fans who say that the Lions should take a running back at 8?
No, not at 8. I don't believe there's a running back worth the 8th overall pick, and we have Kerryon Johnson and Zach Zenner. I think we need a different type of running back, maybe a speed / scat back, not one that dances to blue suede shoes like Theo Riddick. And there's a couple in this draft I think we could get in the mid rounds. I believe would fit us well.
I agree with that. Will and Bruce Holmes says, Luke, people got to understand drafting Hawk is just as good as drafting the old line. He is that good. I agree with you. I agree. I mean, if those people who have been on Luke G's field review from the beginning and came in my earlier parts, and I've only been doing this for a few months, but those people who have come on, I was one of the first people to say that, you know, don't be surprised if tight ends to pick. And people went crazy. It was like, tight end? What do you mean tight end? And I met one of Detroit Alliance's roundtable members who has an awesome channel and that's a good plug and a shameless plug to put into that. But 313 JMO, he came out with a whole video. Can we stop with this tight end at 8 stuff? And I'm like, but it makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and so I know that there's a lot of talk about this running back position, but I think Zach, like many people are pointing out about Zach Zenner still being here. Now, Joseph Murdoch brings up a running back that I think will fit the bill for what the Detroit Lions would do, and based on what you said about the power run, and that is running back from Kentucky, Benny Snells Jr. I don't know if you had any chance to see him. I have. I watched some film on him. But what are your thoughts on Snell Jr. being a Detroit Lion possibility?
Yeah, I like that for, you know, the ground and pound. He's 224 pounds and he runs a 4.66. So he reminds me of LeGarrette Blount, but not last year's LeGarrette Blount.
Right.
More or less the earlier years LeGarrette Blount. And that would be nice too. I would not mind that.
Yeah, and I wouldn't either. I think that he got enough wiggle in his body to get in and out of his cuts. You know, I was watching LeGarrette Blount last year, and I got to be honest. I started to make a blooper video, but I didn't want to get no copyright infringements. I thought to make a video of LeGarrette Blount just trying to cut, and every time he did it, it looked like it was a sniper with rubber bullets just taking him out. He just fell. I don't understand this. Every time he tried to do it, he would just fall over, and I'm like, who sniped him? Who did it? Who was that person? So, you know, that's how I look at it. Now, and I'm probably saying his name wrong. I do apologize if I am, but it's journalism's. Middle linebacker White could be a valuable member for this team moving forward with the first round pick. He could be, but many people, if you watch the film, if you watch my film study, even if you didn't, just go do some studying yourself. What you will find is that he has poor tackling technique and often over pursues, and for a lot of people, that sounds like Jarrett Davis.
Yep.
Now, Russell Gilmore says we need a vet running back like Coleman, a speedy back. Okay. I think the Lions. I'm trying to think of his name. Matt Patricia. He said in there that he was not. Moses Martinez. Don't say that. But Matt Patricia said that he's looking for that power back. He's not looking for a speed guy. He's looking more so for a power back because they had issues when it came to short yardage, and they're trying to reserve Kerryon and not use him up there. But Moses Martinez says Snell reminds him of Sean Alexander. I didn't quite get that comparison, but I mean, hey, I do like Sean Alexander, so I can't get mad at that. And I'm also seeing some people talk about running back Henderson from Memphis and Ozigbo. Now, that's from Morgan Trice. And me personally, I like Ozigbo out of all three of those backs. If you ask me who would I take out of Ozigbo, Henderson, and Snell, I'm taking Ozigbo because Ozigbo runs with power, but he does have that speed too. He did run a 4.5 at his pro day. What are your thoughts on that, Mike?
Yeah, and I think we could get Ozigbo, and what's great about that is we would not have to take him certainly with us, you know, in the second round. We can get him in the later rounds, and that would be a value pickup. And Quinn seems to snag these value pickups. So if we can get him, you know, say third, fourth-ish round, I think that would be a value pickup and a great addition to our running backing core.
I agree. I totally agree. And I've seen a lot of people talk about Devin White and his poor tackling. Now Morgan Trice says, "What about Jordan Howard?" Well, Morgan, this is my response to the Jordan Howard thing. I like Jordan Howard, but if I have to get Jordan Howard, that means I have to give something up to get him. If they release him, I most certainly am saying, "Hey, go out and bring him in." But they're trying to trade him, and he still, I believe, has 2 years left on his contract, and that essentially, in my opinion, takes him off my list. Now, I do agree with you that Ozigbo is a beast. But in case of Jordan Howard, I need, he needs to be a free pickup, not something that's going to cost us anything. Now, Mike, again, for those people who came in a little bit late, just give them a quick overview of what to expect from MicroMike's YouTube channel. Just a quick overview.
So my view that my channel will be doing is more of a micro look into everything Detroit Lions, whether it be into the free agency, the NFL draft, trades, the system that Patricia brings, and what the general manager Quinn, what I believe he would think, and get more into the details that you're not hearing through the mainstream media. Actual facts, stats, and true love for the Detroit. I'm not going to be hating or putting a player in simply because the media likes it. I'm going to put players in that I see through statistics and through reviewing the game tape.
And I, Michael saying, I'm gonna tell you right now, this is a very interesting comparison. He says he sees Snell's kind of reminds him of Michael Pittman, but I do want people to understand that this is our newest Detroit Lion YouTuber, MicroMike, and I do love the approach that he's going to take with it. Mike, I got somebody in here, Bush 308, who says, "What about wide receiver at 3rd or later?"
See, I don't believe we should get a wide receiver in the 3rd round. Now, I can see us picking one up in the 4th or the 5th round, but right now it seems like we have 2 number 1s. We got our slot receiver. We still have some young receivers on the team, so maybe in the later rounds, but I don't think I'd want to pick one up early on.
I know. I feel like, yeah, there are certain receivers I would love to have. You know what I mean? Like, there are certain receivers that, for me, would make me happy, but I'm with you. We got some young guys that need to be allowed a chance to play, and you got a lot of people who are starting to agree with you. That's like a Bush 308. He says, "Yeah, I agree, Mike." And George Morgan says, "Well, what about Hurd from Baylor, the wide receiver Hurd from Baylor?" I do think he's gonna fall to the 5th round. I just got a feeling because Hurd has shown some lack of focus when it comes to catching that ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you could get a player like that in the 5th round and let him sit behind the wide receiver core and, get stronger and learn how to catch a ball a little better, that would be fantastic, and I would be in for that. But that would be more of a depth and player in waiting for possibly next year.
And I totally agree with you on that. So we got Scott Mack in the building. What up, though, Scott Mack? Welcome to the show. We got It's a Sincere. He says, "Can't lie, I would love to get Isabella." He said, "I would love to get Isabella that slot because of his speed and deep ball capabilities. He can get yards after the catch." What's your thoughts about Isabella, man? He's talking about the wide receiver from Massachusetts.
I know, man. I can get addicted into love with Samuel, and I even like Debo, but I just feel like we can wait on wide receiver. I know it's such a sexy pick, but I believe we just need to get a little stronger up front and in the back end, middle linebacker and stuff like that. Wide receiver, I believe we can just wait on it.
Now listen, here's a comment that I love right here, and many people who've been with me, they know that I always end my show with "Don't be no chump." Please do your research, because I believe that when we don't do no research, we look like idiots, and I don't believe that we should look like idiots. Now here's the thing: Joseph Murdoch says, "Oops, I looked at some game of Khalil Hodge, and he is serious." Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I spent almost 2 minutes in the video just talking about him coming in out of his cuts. I mean, it's crazy. Stephen A. Smith, what up, though, man? Welcome to the show. I'm not sure if that's the real Stephen A. Smith, but if it is, I'm all for it. Okay. Now Morgan Trice says Bob Quinn selects Cody Ford. He thinks Bob Quinn is gonna go with Cody Ford. What is your thoughts on that? I got a strange look at the idea of taking the lineman, but let's talk about that though.
I just don't see him doing it.
I don't need.
When I heard Cleveland's press conference, he wants to get playmakers, and at this point, you can get linemen later on that would fill the team really well. Like we got Larry Warford in the 3rd round a couple years ago. We got Crosby in the 5th round. There is talent for linemen in the middle rounds. I don't see a blue chipper offensive lineman right now that you'd want to take early on. So why take one when you can wait and get a really good pick in the middle rounds?
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. I think that a lot of those things, because when you look at it, you're talking about filling a small role where a person's got to come in and still learn anyway, and they're going to have a chance to earn their way on the team. The Lions did go out and add Odea Abuchi, and he's going to get a chance to try to start, which whatever. But again, I can totally see that. Now, Wesley says Lions have no leadership on the offensive line. I don't know if I agree with that, because I think that Rick Wagner has shown that he's a leader, and surprisingly, Graham Glasgow has shown that he's a leader in terms of that. Travis Troxel says, Luke, that's your inside guy that brings out these awesome mock drafts. Hey, Travis, I would love to say that he was my inside guy to these mock drafts, but he is not. But he do talk some good football, and therefore I'm supporting anybody who's willing to come on the show and have a good conversation. So that's just me. I can't speak for how others do it, but that's just if one of y'all want to come on, let's say you a barber and you want to promote your barbershop and you want to come on and talk football, then come on, let's talk football and talk about your barbershop as well. So you can always hit me up on Twitter at PhilGs and in my email at lukegsfairreview@gmail.com. Now, what up though, Risky? Bush 308 says, I am glad we didn't take Geis. I was a little sad. I didn't expect for him to get hurt his first season. And I was okay taking him with what I saw the Lions leaning towards. But I'm more than happy with Kerryon Johnson, and I can't get mad at that. Risky, I'm on a PS4 in terms of Madden. Hit me up on Twitter, and we can set that Madden up. I ain't as good as I used to be, man. This YouTube take a lot of time from that. So, but yeah. Mike, so as you can see right now, man, people they loving what you're talking about, man. They can't wait for you to have a video. I know that you had some videos up, and you had a nice conversation about kind of how to stylize it a little bit differently, and so you want to kind of make sure you get that right. So what should they expect in that first video that they're gonna see?
Well, my first video will kind of be an overview of the Detroit Lions in the media and how we've been getting dogged. And it kind of like Detroit versus everybody. And I'll go into more a macro view. And then after that, that initial video, I'm going to go into micro about players and about philosophy. So the first video, it's more of a macro. After that, I'll be dropping more info instantly, micro view. And if there's breaking news, I'll drop some breaking news. But I'd like to go in depth on players, whether it be on our team or in the draft. Or in free agency. So if I could show out how these players play and give a different perspective than what you probably hear from, say Mike Valenti, I will do that for you.
And again, we are on the phone with the Detroit Lions' newest YouTuber, MicroMike, man. I really do appreciate what he was bringing to the table and had to get him on. You have Travis Trox, who says, I'm definitely subscribing to your channel, Mike. So that's what's up. Again, please subscribe to his channel. It is linked in the description. And like I said, today's show is not going to be that long because I really wanted to just be able to give some love to our newest Detroit YouTuber, as well as talk about some new topics like Jalen Ferguson having dinner with your Detroit Lions, and talk about some things like apparently the Lions have added another cornerback and Rashawn Melvin, and also address this draft, because I know we all trying to figure out what's going on with this draft and figure those things out. And again, if you're trying to reach me on Twitter, you can type in Luke G's Fear Review or get my handle at PhilGs, because I was trying to come up with a cool name for you guys who clearly study film with me and are able to keep up with this, and so that makes me happy. Now, Morgan Trice says Ferguson is a beast. I totally agree. Lions fan 75 says laughing my butt off. They are not taking an O lineman. Bush 308 says keep Tees in the slot, put Coleman outside. Tees, here's the thing, Bush. I think Coleman is going to be the number 2 corner. I know there's been a lot of debate about he's not going to be it. I just don't see us paying a slot corner like $9.5 million and not have him play outside. I just don't see it. For me, I don't see it. I'm having a hard time seeing that. And he did play outside when he was on New England. So I'm just saying it's hard for me not to see them trying that out.
And I'd like to get a little on conversation about this, kind of see if I can help fans out when it comes to Coleman in the secondary. What I believe Patricia is going to do is he's going to have a secondary that is going to mix it up. It's not going to be one player, say Slay, on one specific player. Coleman specifically on one, their third receiver or their second receiver. I believe he's going to mix it up simply because we have fantastic safeties, young safeties, Walker and Diggs, and then we have Darius Slay Coleman and possibly this new cornerback that we just signed. He's going to mix it up, folks, and that is going to be fantastically awesome because I see a lot of picks for us.
And I think that's the thing that people miss. I think in the show yesterday, I brought it up, man. He has 5 characteristics that he's looking for in his players, and high football IQ is on there, and versatility is on there. And so I do think you're spot on when you say that, hey, you're not going to see your traditional let this guy follow that guy unless that guy is just getting cooked. But for the most part, I think you're right. I think what you're going to see is more and more people having to do more in different spots on that defense, so you can't get a beat on what they're doing. And I think you're spot on when you say that. That is a very good observation by you. And again, Sag Nasty says, I just said that I'm definitely subscribing, Micro. So they showing you some love, man. They liking how you talking, and it certainly was enough to impress me to put you on and have a conversation. Now we got Bradley Beard who says we just signed Rashawn Melvin from Oakland. I know, man. I've been announcing it all day, man. Welcome to the show. Appreciate you coming on and hanging with us. Scott Mack says Jared Davis will make the Pro Bowl next year. You mean this year or next year? Because, technically we are getting close to starting that real one. So I do think he will make the Pro Bowl, Scott. Michael Sands says that Travis Melvin was on New England. I know he was on the coast too. You know what, Mike? I didn't get that far into looking at his whole history because I got the news broke to me being on here. So I will be doing a deep dive, and you know me, I like to kind of see how it affects the team financially and what does that mean in terms of putting them there. So here's my thing, Mike. Here's my thing, because we're going to do this again. I'm going to probably add you one day onto the round table so you can kind of be in that conversation with other guys and bounce ideas and just kind of talk football. But let's just say hypothetically, because I saw something that had me really interested in this, and it said that if the Detroit Lions trade down, that the pick could be a defensive end. And the name that came up in this article was one that I was not expecting to see, but it was Brian Burns from Florida State. What are your thoughts on that? Now, mind you, the source is not that credible.
One of my sleeper picks if we traded later in the first round. I actually was thinking Brian Burns would be fantastic if somehow we got to, say, later in the first round, the 20s up to the 30s. I think that would be a fantastic pickup there. And if we could get a trade down and pick up a second-round pick or a third, I think we should do it.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with you. It seems like Bush is in total agreement as well. He says D-line and secondary seems set to me. Linebackers and offense are all the way. I think that's where they're going to go in this draft. I think the tight end, though, is a must-have. Now, Morgan Trice says Brian Burns' PFF rating is good. It is very good. I saw this article. I believe it's on, I want to say it was Bleacher Report, and I was like, what are the odds? What are the odds that the Lions trade that far down? They had the Lions getting down as low as 30 with a trade with the Green Bay Packers, and I'm just like, I don't see them making that trade with the Green Bay Packers, but if it did happen, I would be shocked. And then we got So Lions fan 75 says, so Melvin is going to be the cornerback too, and Coleman a nickel. Nah, I think Mike hit on that, and that is he's gonna do some things different. D Williams says, I just subscribed. Thank you for your service. Yes, also, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. MicroMike is a military vet, and I think that's awesome. He's one of the reasons why I'm sitting here doing YouTube, because I've made it very clear to him. I ain't got the balls to do it, So that I'm just gonna be honest about it. I ain't got it. So yes, we do want to thank you for your service, and we appreciate you. We are talking to the Detroit Lions' newest YouTuber, MicroMike. Again, he has just started his YouTube channel. He has a lot coming, and a lot of the things that me and him talked about was awesome. I truly enjoyed the conversations that we had with him. And again, he is a military vet. So shout out to our vets who are in the chat. We do appreciate you here on Luke G's Field Review and at the round table in the Detroit Alliance for your service and all that you have done for us. So, y'all the real MVPs in my eyes, okay? Now, I'm seeing some people. I saw a statement that says that, and it came from Stephen A. Smith, who says that Jalen Ferguson is overrated in his opinion. And then I see Morgan Trice, who says Ferguson from Louisiana Tech University had the highest PFF pass rushing rating. Now, are you familiar with Jalen Ferguson, Mike?
Not much, actually. I did not get to go into his film.
Now, here's the thing I want y'all to understand. That was a trick question, ladies and gentlemen, because what I wanted y'all to be able to see is that the man is going to be honest with you. He's not going to just pull stuff out the air to make a story up and it sound good for YouTube. He's just going to be honest. Don't know him, and when I find out more, I'll get back to you. So I just wanted to kind of do that. I know it seemed a little sneaky, but I'm happy that you was honest in that regard to be able to say, no, I haven't had a chance to see him, and that goes a long way with me, and I know those who sub. Now, Will Dirk says, I just subbed to MicroMike, so there you go, another sub. So you should see your phone blowing up really bad right now. Now, Bush 308 says, John Simmons, there is no way we are getting first and a second for the 8th pick, more like a first and a second, maybe. I don't know, Bush. You got to understand that the value for that first pick is about 1,400 points. And so depending on what pick we get, we could easily come out with a first, a second, a fourth for that pick at 8. That pick at 8 got a little value to it. And we have a lot of people like Rich Law who says, appreciate your service. We got Hamden who says, oorah. I'm probably and we got Paul Chapman, who I've never seen in my chat. So, man, please, I just want to let you know what I'm doing. Welcome to the Field Review and being a part of the show. He says they are going to draft the best player available per need. So the tight end will get selected, and we will trade our 2nd and 5th to Arizona for Patrick Peterson for the remaining 2 years and that $11 million next year. Let me just tell you something, Mr. Paul Chapman. They do have cap space to cover that $11 million. They do have the cap space for it. And Paul Chapman says the 3rd round would be an O-line, 4th would be Missouri quarterback. Missouri quarterback. You talking about Drew Lock? That's what you talking about?
Drew Lock's going in the 1st round.
Yeah, I think Drew Lock getting drafted in the 1st round. If you're talking about him. Now you got another person who named Andrew Taylor who says just sub to Mike. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. And then you got Greg Gore who says 2nd and 5th for Pat Pete. Who is that? Oh, Patrick Peterson. Duh. Hey, Greg Gore, it's been a long day. Work was a different beast today. Let me just tell you. And let's see. Morgan Trice say Paul is smoking. He might be, but that does not mean he's wrong. Okay. So let's be clear about that. Sag Natty said Ferguson is overrated. He cannot set the edge. I mean, the question becomes, is that what you're asking him to do? Because if that's what you want him to do, then you're certainly right. You don't probably want him out there. But I think what you're going to get out of Ferguson is you want a person who can rush and play the run. I think that's what teams are going to look at when evaluating Ferguson. And let me see. I just want to make sure I hit on everybody. Sweden 8-8 wants to know, Mike, what unit? I have no clue what that question means, Mike.
Okay, I was Charlie Troop 1st of the 126. I was infantry and 19 kilo Abrams tank driver.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of stuff. I have no clue what that means, but it all sounds like some real Call of Duty stuff. And in that case, I'll say that's what's up. So I have no clue. I just don't know. Sack Nancy says he has to be versatile. So yes, he will have to have that ability. I agree. They want versatility. And I take it that Morgan Trice must be military as well. See, because there he go. Mr. Morgan Trice is a Navy vet here. He goes, Army, laughing out loud. But thank you for your service, Mr. Morgan Trice. Okay. Now, Marcus Willis says Chase Winovich is better than Ferguson. Whoa. That's an interesting comparison. I never thought about that.
One thing about Chase that's so good about him is his ability to work through pain, and he is a leader. I think, if you could get him, that would be pretty good. If you can get him in the third, fourth round-ish, he would be nice to have a young leader on there that can take the pain.
Yeah, I just never thought about it. Whenever I do it, the only time I compare it is when I get a lot of people who I get a lot of people who's like, oh, Devin White. And I'm like, okay, I looked at him. They like TJ Edwards. And I'm like, well, I like TJ Edwards better than Devin White. And then they kept going. I like Khalil Hodge better than Devin White. So that's when I started comparing them. And according to John Simmons, Chase is a stud. And I don't disagree with that at all. And Stephen A. Smith agreed. He said, yes, he is better. Now, here's something. For the people who said that Paul Chapman is smoking, he has made it very clear, not yet, laughing out loud, but Peterson isn't interested in playing for a college coach and has asked for a trade, and we have the needed money and space to get him. I'm with it. It's certainly, the money is certainly there. And plus, people don't realize that we have, I think it's like 19 million or 20. Yeah. I think it's like 19 to 20 something million. But that's with a roster with like 68 players on it. So we got to get down to 53, which means we'll get most of that money back, and 9 million of that going towards the draft. So I can see it. And yes, I appreciate that, Paul. Paul says, yes, I'm new, started following you this week. Lansing native, living in Titanland. Oh, man, he up there in Tennessee. Well, hey, let them know that the Lions roar down here is real, man. And tell them that we said what up, though. So, Mike, man, listen. Let me tell you something, Mike. Mike, I was just so excited to have you on, man. And like I said, I'm gonna have you on again eventually. And I just wanted to kind of touch on a few of the headlines today with you and just kind of introduce you to the other YouTube subscribers who want to be able to follow Lions people who are competent and who are knowledgeable about the game. And when I talked to you, man, you had all that in, son, and I truly appreciated it. And that's why I was willing to get you on the show and let's just, and talk, because, this dude was seriously, talking some things that I was like, hey, I can get with that. I can get behind that all day. So, what do you want to let the people know before we get off? Because, I'm finna hop off because I got to go to a bunch of kids sporting events tomorrow. I get to go to soccer and a little bit of basketball and a little bit of t-ball. I'm not even sure what t-ball is, but I'm going to get to go to it. And, just what do you have for the people?
Yeah, I'd like to, first I'd like to apologize with the technical issues. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to have to fix my computer here. But I will be posting videos tomorrow. I'm working. I have a day job, so I will try to get the videos done. Maybe it'll be on about 5, 6-ish tomorrow or Sunday. I will try to post a video every day. If you give me suggestions on a specific player, whether it be, again, in the draft or free agency, any of you guys out there, I will go ahead and look over the film for a couple of games and see if that player, I believe, would fit Patricia's system, offense, and or defense. And I want to say thank you to all the YouTubers out there, the Derrick P Fields, the Van Beast Morris's, 616 JMO. I've been watching you guys for a long time, and you guys made it a pleasure in giving me the ability to do this. So I want to thank all of you for doing such fantastic Lions work and bringing the pride back in Detroit.
Yeah, man. It's a good thing, man. And again, on Luke G's field review, as long as you keep it clean, we good about it. Now, Greg Gore did have a question for us both before we hop off, and he says, I seen no mainstream media outlet have Hodge as a top 5 linebacker. Are you saying mainstream media don't know what they're talking about? That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Bucky Brooks has had the Lions taking Rashard Gary. Then one moment he had them taking Colin Farrell. Then he went from Colin Farrell to them taking Greedy Williams. And then he said, okay, well, no Greedy Williams. It's going to be Noah Fant. Now, I can't take it no more. Some of these people are absolutely crazy when it comes to coming up with these mock drafts. But again, I just wanted to now listen, Marcus Willis. I have reached out to Everything King in his videos, and I have not gotten a response back. So maybe when he goes live or something, maybe you guys can talk to him so we all can get on and talk sports, man. This is an open forum for me where there's no love, loss, or hate or anger or anything like that. And again, Travis Troxel would like to know for all the military people who are in the chat, and as well as you, Mike, that who are active and who are not active, he want to thank you so much and thank you all for all your hard work and dedication and sacrifice that y'all have made and want to give y'all much love. So again, ladies and gentlemen, we're at that part of the show where I got to get things going. So what's your final thoughts before we get up off of here, Mike?
Again, my final thoughts here is just thanks for all the love, everyone out there. Thanks for being part of something that's greater than ourselves. I think creating such a idea of having Lions fans coming together and getting together and spitting out facts that's not narrative to the mainstream media. I think this is good for us as fans. It gives us positive views. It's good for the city of Detroit. And I think this is something that will help us out.
You know, and I totally agree with it. My man John Martin, we had a nice little conversation yesterday, and I told him, man, I do this to change the narrative. We got to be more, we got to be able to look at the Lions in a more objective perspective, to be able to see what's leading up to these things. And so, yes, for those people who want to see me talk with Everything King, reach out to him, man. I've tried, to get out to him, and maybe I haven't done a good job of doing that or not, but reach out to him. I'm always down for it. And like I said, I do have I am working some things out with Motor City Sports Talk to come on and have a conversation. So we're going to have some conversations with some people on, so you can see some of your favorite YouTubers and sports talkers talk sports, man. And that's what I'm really trying to do here. But again, as always, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of my show for today. As always, please don't be no chump. Please do your research. We out.